Hey, it is Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
And that's your cue, Bone, right there.
I was waiting on my intro. Y'all treat me like I'm a co-host getting paid.
The check's in the mail.
Y'all supposed to treat me like I was a guest at dinner. You ain't supposed to make me go make my own plate.
And now, Bone Hampton.
What's up? There we go. Treat me like you still love me. Just
there you go.
Don't mean I'm not a guest.
I was just treating you like family. I just thought, okay, well, let's just Bone Hampton.
All right. Come in with your own intro, your own applause, all that. It's on you. Bring your own plate, season your own steak, cut your own potatoes.
Your own green room and everything. You got to have your own stuff.
Bone Hampton with us this morning, comedian, speaker, just all around amazing person. And we love
he is.
He says, now listen, the first thing I said before we got before Dan or Don, whichever one,
call me whatever. Yeah.
Push the live button. Bone one looks like he's lost some weight to me. Mm-hmm. And then the facial hair, that I might go that direction because that
looks really good. Yeah.
Right,
come on over here, Rick. Get the little line goatee. Get the little line. You ain't got to go wild man all your life. Come on now.
Hey, do you do that yourself or do you go to someone?
Oh, no. I had to have a professional. If it was mine, it'd be coming over here. Over here by my ear. This one would be over too close. I'd be did half my lip. I'd be like, what I look like, fellas? What I look like? Be like, you might need to go see the doctor. You got
blood right here.
Some of your equilibrium in your hands a little bit, Bone. I'm just saying.
That's funny. Bone Hampton with us this morning. Bone, you just gave me a thought. We were talking about Seattle earlier. Pretty soon he'll be shaving. Are you up for that? How you gonna teach that young man to shave?
Well, first I'm gonna give him the speech and let him know it's gonna be a bloody mess. Let's just go on and accept that you're not gonna know what you're doing the first few times. It's gonna be like everything else in life. You know, remember when you tried to make your first sandwich and more peanut butter was on the table than the bread? That's what's gonna happen when you're shaving.
But it'll be blood instead of peanut butter. So
it's going to be blood instead of peanut butter. I need you to not freak out. That's the first thing I need you to do. And luckily, your daddy done made enough money. You can go get shaved when I get shaved by the same barbershop.
Oh, that's awesome. Man. That's awesome. Well,
you might not have a driver, but you might have a barber to cut your beard.
That's good.
That's
Otherwise,
awesome.
you're going to look like Uncle Rick. And we can't do it at 17. We can't, not at 17, Seattle. There's too much going on in the world right now.
You need to take a screenshot and show him this is not what you want to look like.
Right there.
Not like Wild Man up in the Tennessee hills. You don't want to look like him.
No, I was just wondering because, it's one or two thoughts here. So he starts shaving. Is it in your heart? Oh my gracious, he's growing up. I can't believe it. Or is it, yeah, come on. He's a man. Which one is it? Or a little of both?
Oh, it's way more. Oh my goodness. I can't believe he's shaving. I mean, Seattle is almost 6'17" now anyway.
6'17".
So I'm already, and I tell him every day, I'm like, I'm so nervous the day, because right now I call him, it's like, hey daddy. I'm like, I know I'm gonna call you one day. You're gonna be like, what's up, daddy? I'm gonna be like, who is this? Who is this grown man on the phone? It's me, Seattle. I'm like, no, it ain't. I'm so scared that day because I know it's any day now. It's just gonna drop on me, and I'm gonna lose my mind.
Yeah,
I tell you what we do at home when all three boys are here and mom's in the kitchen, we're in the living room. One of us will say something, and she doesn't know who it is because we all sound alike. They all have my voice. So she's like, Caleb, Jake, anyway.
That's funny.
Bone Hampton with us. Love him to pieces. Appreciate your time. You've got Zanies this weekend. How many shows you're doing at Zanies in Nashville?
Got 4 shows total. Got 1 Friday night, 2 Saturday, and 1 Sunday night. So really excited about it's going to be small capacity. So we hold 300. I'm so excited about these 9 people that's going to be there. So excited. It's already sold out. It's sold out. I think,
and they need to laugh loud too, don't they?
Yeah, I'm like, y'all gonna have to laugh with y'all distant friends. So I'm gonna need you at table 8. I need you to laugh with the people at table 28. I know it's gonna be a stretch, but y'all gonna have to make eye contact and have fun as a group. Is what y'all gonna have to do tonight.
You want me to come up there and sit in the back and then play a laugh track every time, just to kind of get people going?
Actually, you don't even have to come up here because you account as far as social distance from Atlanta. So, you can play your laugh track from Atlanta.
You're right. Oh, man.
Bone Hampton. We were talking with Josh Harris yesterday. We were talking about COVID, and he was doing some COVID jokes, which were very, very funny. And we talked about him doing it, live or putting it out on video or whatever. And he was kind of hesitant a bit. I said, you know what? You probably should go ahead and do that because they're going to get stale. One of these days, we're going to be out of this mess. Are you going to do anything like that? Are you going to be seasonal, or are you just going to do other stuff that you've created?
No, because I think it's kind of like an all-star show. And so if it's more than 5 comics, I know 8 of them going to do their COVID jokes. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to be 1 in a million doing COVID jokes on that kind of show. Yeah. But if I'm headlining the show, then I'm going to do my COVID jokes, because when you headline the show, it's like they want to hear your perspective on COVID. Mm-hmm. So like I was talking with Shonda Pierce when we get ready to go back out. And she was like, nah, I'm not going to do COVID. I'm like, Shonda, I'm opening. I'm not going to do any COVID jokes because that's respectful to the headliner.
Yeah.
For you to do your COVID jokes. I'm still going to do what I do. I'm talking about Brad Pitt's butt naked in the bushes. That's what I'm going to do when I'm opening. Now, when it's the Bone Hampton show, we'll go into a little bit more advanced version. Like, well, what happened after you called Brad Pitt? Well, you got to come to the show and pay $25 for the ticket to see what happens after I call Brad Pitt.
Brad was wearing a mask and he was socially distanced. It's okay.
Yes, he was. The bushes was a lot further this time. He's like, I wasn't even in your bushes. Yes, you was. Yes, you was. I was in Ackworth. Well, I was in Alpharetta, and I still saw you, okay? You shouldn't have been so good at movies. I wouldn't have recognized you, but you are. And so I felt like it was that zombie movie you was doing.
Now, you mentioned Shonda Pierce. Now, is she getting ready to go back on the road? Is it soon, or is it after the first of the year?
Man, they trying to send us back out in late October, but they've been trying to send us out in August as well. So we don't know. I mean, they kind of trying, but I'm not holding my breath, but I am holding my breath. Because, yeah.
Now, Bone, with things like COVID and things that could be sensitive to people, how do you know when it's too soon or it's okay to go ahead and talk about it and make fun of it?
You ask yourself, can you handle the backlash? That's what you got to ask yourself before you do it. It's like, okay, I want to do this. Okay, if the backlash comes, do I have a defense? Can I deal with it? And I'm one of the few comedians that my skin is so thin. Most of the time, I know I can't handle the backlash. So I'll be like, nope, not going to talk about it. I ain't going to say a word. Because if I get one comment, Bone, I can't believe you did that. I'm in a fetal position calling my mama, and she is in heaven. She's like, you can't just call me on my phone. Mama, I need you. Mama, I need you. Do you see what they said about me? They said grown men shouldn't wear mohawks. That's wrong, Mama. They didn't have to say that about me. My mohawk, it looked good, Mama. They got like, you too old to be wearing a mohawk. What's wrong with you? You ain't no youth pastor. Why you got a goatee? Mama, they ain't got to do it. So I'm like, nah, I'm going to say no to a lot. I'm going to say no to a lot of this material. Because I'm like, nah. I know
your mom's like, don't call me. I'm up here on the golden streets. Leave me alone.
I'm up here having a conversation with Esther. Okay, we talking about some stuff. Okay, Mom.
Now, is that something, now you teach comedy classes, which you have one coming up. Is that something that you you put all that practical stuff out. Obviously, you learn this by experience. These new guys coming up, guys and girls, they need to know that, because otherwise they step out, they're gonna get their butt kicked. Don't you think?
Absolutely. My comedy class for comics been doing it 4 years or younger. And the whole goal is to teach them things that I've learned that they don't have to experience. And so that's one of them, of like, you can say whatever you want to on stage as long as you can deal with the potential backlash. You don't get to say something crazy and then be like, why don't nobody like me no more? It's like, you didn't think that through? That if you said that backlash might come, and you can't. Like, before I had Seattle, I used to do a joke about I didn't date women with kids because I didn't have no kids. And man, one lady wrote me a long letter about how I was foul and what if she did what she was supposed to do, and the man that she was married to wasn't no good, and she was a Proverbs 31, 32, 33, and 34 type of woman. And I was like, wow. I was just... And so I ended up, I had one of the moments. I was actually talking to Sherry Shepherd. She was my best friend, and she was like, I say, Sherry, I don't even mean the joke. The joke is, it's just a joke. I almost only date women with kids. Matter of fact, I got a 2-kid minimum. And she was like, you need to say all that on stage. And it helped me amend the joke. And so it was like, well, don't say the joke if you can't handle the backlash. Just remember, there's women with kids. They're going to feel a certain way when you isolate them like that. So I had to go through it. And that's part of the reason I'm doing the class, is to teach some young kids like, hey, everything funny ain't going to get you the response you want. So you better be careful about what you willing to say on that stage, because once you make it public, you're going to get a public response.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're talking with Bone Hampton. We'll take a break in just a second. Is it kind of like the customer is always right? I hate to say that, because here you are, an artist. I know you have to use wisdom and you want to be sensitive, but I'm thinking, I don't know how many times that we've seen you. Some of that stuff, you just get it right at the moment. It seems like that you've done it so many times, you know what to say and what not to say. But is the customer always right?
No. 99% of the time, because as a comic, before you ever get on stage, the best thing to do is to figure out what is your belief system. And there's 2 or 3 things that I'm willing to die on for. If you got a problem with my Christianity, that's fine. You can have a problem with it. I'm not changing it. I'm a single dad. You got a problem with me talking about that, that's fine. I'm not changing it. And I'm a black man. If you got a problem with that, that's fine. I'm not changing it. So I process all these things before I say whatever comes out of my mouth. And so I appreciate you saying that it looks that quick, but it's almost like Dr. Strange in my mind. There's a lot of scenarios that I've processed through my head before I ever said what come out my mouth. It's like the joke, we just use it as a point of reference. When I joke about Brad Pitt's be hiding in your bushes, I got 2 ways of saying it. Brad Pitt can be hiding in your bushes butt naked at 3:00 in the morning, and Brad Pitt can be hiding in your bushes in a pair of Speedos at 3:00 in the morning. Or sometimes it's just Brad Pitt can be hiding in your bushes at 3:00 in the morning. And I can look out in the audience and feel what the room is and be like, this need to be a Speedos night.
Yeah.
You know what? He might just need to be in the bushes. Or I could be in the middle. Oh, I'm about to hit him with a butt naked. And then I see Sister Hat from the 3rd row of First Baptist sitting in the comedy club. I'm like, oh, no. And so you just know what you willing to, what hill you willing to die on in comedy. And you make that process of like, okay, I'm gonna live with this. There's things that I'll say that I know it's okay to say, but I'm like, it might get read the wrong way in this room full of 1,500 people. So therefore, it's like, don't say it, even though it's okay. Don't say it, because if it gets read wrong, you're gonna have a problem. And then what are you gonna do?
Man, that's one of the things I love about you, Bone, is you know how to present something, even if it could be something where somebody goes, "Ooh, I don't know about that." You know how to present it in a way that makes it funny. Like when you did the Harambe joke many years ago with the gorilla Harambe that got shot. The way you presented that, I mean, if you had just said something, most people would be like, "Oh man, that's wrong." But the way you presented it made it hilarious.
I appreciate it, and that's a good point of what the thing that I had to think about. How can you present it to where people can't really argue with you? Because it was the question of, how could you be a parent and not go down there and try to help your kid?
Right.
Why did your kid get that? There was so much judgment in the thoughts that people had. It's like, how can you take the judgment element away from it, Bone? And that's when I thought, because you got to speak in the from the point of view of the gorilla, because nobody's arguing or debating on what the gorilla should have did or shouldn't. So as long as you speak for the gorilla, then everybody is allowed to laugh because they don't have to worry about how they feel about what the parent, what the child, blah, blah, blah. And so that allowed me to have the fun with it and everybody in the audience to be, okay, well, he's just talking about the gorilla. Now, granted, probably somebody was going to hit me with an email. It ain't cool to have a black man. He a gorilla. We trying to get past the King Kong syndrome. I'm like, hey, man, I ain't got time for that, okay? I didn't play King Kong, all right?
Oh, man.
Bone Hampton, Dan, how many times, of course, I can't speak for you, but we've had Bone in the studio on Zoom, on StreamYard. And I remember one time, and it was the gorilla one, but he was talking about some other stuff too. And we were laughing, and I thought, are we supposed to laugh? I'm not sure. And but it's almost like he's such a scream. I love the presentation. Yeah. Hey, we're talking with Bone Hampton. You can go to bonehampton.com to find out more. Maybe you can't go to Zany's this weekend. Well, check out his Facebook page and his website, and you'll be able to see his stuff. Hey, we're talking with Bone Hampton, and Bone's got a comedy class coming up. We'll give you the skinny on how to be a part of that. I saw something on your Facebook, Bone, and I don't think you were looking for the Oxford Webster's definition of what is accountability. Did you ever get an answer? What is accountability?
I got quite a few, and I'm going to use it for a live discussion coming up here in the next couple of days. So make sure you tune in. It's interesting to hear different people's point of view on what accountability is. I notice a lot of people, we throw that word around so freely and so easily. And I realized, man, people got different definitions. And so the first thing that I was going to touch on is like, well, first of all, you got to want to be accountable to whoever it is you trying to hold somebody accountable for. It's like, I'm a diabetic and I joke about it. I ain't supposed to be eating some foods, but unless you Rick and Dan and you see me eating a carrot cake, you don't get to walk up on me and say, I'm holding you accountable to your diabetes. Man, if you don't get out my face, I don't know you. You better go. Now, if you Rick and Dan, you like, come on, Bone. Come on. I'm like, man, where y'all pop up from? I didn't even know y'all was here.
No, man, I'd be like, give me a bite too. I want some of that. See what
I'm saying? So I think that's one of the main things is people be trying to hold people accountable and you ain't got that relationship with them. Ken Kington, Ed Wiley, them my boys, they can walk up to me, Bone. You can't be doing that, man. But I'm like, if I did a show with you back in 2013, you don't get to walk up on me and do that. So that's why I think it's going to be an interesting discussion about what people think accountability is and how does it work. But it's been some interesting, some very interesting comments about what people think it is. I can't wait.
I know a couple of years ago, you were talking about accountability and in your own life. And that's, you coming from a perspective now where you have walked through it, and accountability, you continue to walk through it. Right.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Where do you think you'll get? And I know this is beyond knowing you. It is going to be humorous, but you're deeper than just humor. You're going to a point. You're going to a place of, hey, I want people to grow. Where do you want to go with this?
I want people to start understanding. I think sometimes people don't realize that accountability starts with you individually and making sure that you giving people the green light to hold you accountable. Like, you know, a lot of times, especially as men, I know, especially if we have a family, we like, that's my accountability. I will hold myself accountable to my family. And it's like, hey, man, we all built with flesh. We all are imperfect. And the wrong temptation can show up at the wrong time. And if you haven't given some men some authority to step into a place and cross a boundary that they normally won't cross, you might can't get the help that you need to get. And so it's okay to set up some guys and say, man, if you ever see something sideways, you know, you could come into my personal space and say, man, I'm looking at you and it looked like you might be getting ready to go down the road of trouble. Let's get you out of here. And not worried about you saying, man, you better go on and mind your own business. This is my business. I'm grown. I can do what I want to. I think you out of line, you know. And I think that's a hard place for us as men to create, because we're the head of our house. It's like, dude, who are you? Who are you to come to me and step to me? It's like, dude, I'm your conscience. That's what I got some secular friends, and that's my nickname with them. It's like, here come Bone, here come Big Conscious. Here come Big Conscious. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that, but I think y'all mean it well. Yeah. Because if they doing something, I'm like, hey, man, that's oh, okay.
Uh-oh. No, I got you, Bone. I got you. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure why Rick lost sound, but I can hear you.
Okay.
Let's continue on though. I do like that you point out though for accountability, you have to be willing to be held accountable, because I think a lot of us go into an accountability group and then we're like, I don't really want to be held accountable. I'm just here because it looks good, or my wife told me I needed to be, and we're not really there. We don't really want to be held accountable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like, do you trust the group? Do you trust? I mean, I've had some guys in the Christian music business that I thought was my boys, and I was really being transparent with them. And I had some other guys had to tell me, hey, man, stop talking to them, because they're not doing what you think. They are having a time with your personal business on the bus and a gossip fest. So they're not who you think they are. And I was like, wow, I thought y'all didn't say nothing to them, didn't call them out, just realized God was saying, hey, man, keep that accountability group a lot closer to you. Kind of do a little bit more research on the people that you just trust, and just because they in this business. And I was like, okay. And that doesn't help the cause, but I also realized that was Satan's way of trying to get me to be isolated and be in my own box when I needed friends. So,
yeah, man, good stuff. All right, well, we better wrap this up. Apparently, Rick can't hear us, so we can say whatever we want about him, and he won't know, basically. So, Bone, go ahead. Just let it loose on Rick. I mean, he'll never know.
Here's my thing about my dude, Rick. I'm talking about you, Rick. I don't have no paper to write. I'm talking about Rick.
All right, go to bonehampton.com to get all the details on shows that he's going to be in, the comedy class, and just to watch some great videos, and to see you. I see you on the red carpet for I Still Believe. I guess that was probably a few months ago, but that looked like it was fun. Great movie too, about Jeremy Camp.
Me and the Erwin brothers are
now he's listening online.
Me and the Erwin brothers are Andy Aaron. That's one of my best friends, and we have such a mutual respect. So anything he's doing, I'm gonna be there. And so he's doing a documentary on Christian music right now, and he just interviewed me for it, and it was so funny. He was like, Bone, I don't have people that I know that know the Christian music world and the gospel music world as well as you, and know how to mesh them. And it was such a fun interview. And he was like, I think you know more about Christian and gospel music than some of these Christian artists. I was like, well, that's what comes along with being old and funny. You learn a lot.
You've been to the festivals, And
let me tell you something real quick. I have told almost every black person I know since the last time I was with y'all about, did you know a white person made No Charge and not Shirley Caesar? And when I tell you everybody passed out, Everybody passed out. Stop lying, Bone. You listen to white people too much. I'm like, no, look it up. Look it up. I'm so messed up. I'm so messed up.
Oh my gosh. Bone Hampton, bonehampton.com, and then on Facebook it's just Bone Hampton, right?
All social media is at Bone Hampton.
At Bone Hampton. Check him out, and man, if you need a good laugh, he's the man. We got to take a break. I don't know if Rick can hear me or not, but we're going to take a break, and we'll be back. This is Faith Talk Live. I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
I'm Bone Hampton. And that's Rick.
And he's Rick Probst. We'll see you later.